Hey, family, this is your brother Dana, and I want to cut straight to the chase and introduce to those who don't know and those who do our brother Michael Sanders, who is 25 years in, serving a sentence of life plus 65 years, wrongfully convicted and charged of a crimes. And I just want him to share with you what took place in his life just about a week or so ago. Brother Mike?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Brother
You
Mike,
ready?
go ahead. Share your story, my brother.
Okay. Yeah, this happened last Saturday night around 6:30. I was just relaxing in my cell, watching a little TV after eating a meal, and I was ambushed by maybe six officers and two lieutenants. They rushed me out of my cell and put me in handcuffs, me and my cellmate, and they didn't tell us what the incident was all about. And so I had on a pair of shorts and a Dago t-shirt, and so they allowed me to put on a pair of pants, but I only had on my socks and some shower shoes. Which, if you don't know what shower shoes is, it's just like house shoes. Actually, my feet were exposed.
They were
It was
like
below zero
plastic.
weather.
Yeah.
Correct. Um, the only thing the police told me was that we were going under investigation about a call that was made to Springfield concerning us. Which that was all the information that we was given at that time. We was rushed to what they call segregation immediately, put in the cell after we were strip shirts, and we stayed in that cell for about until Tuesday afternoon. The cell was extremely cold. We didn't have any electronics. I was laying on the top bunk. Within the second night, the water started leaking from the ceiling. So I had to put my mattress on the floor and sleep on the floor for the last night. The food was abysmal. It was cold. Yeah, it was just a horrible experience. I mean, it felt like I was going through the initial process when I first got arrested for this crime, when I was being interrogated for several murders that I had no knowledge of, and just being locked in a room with the lights out and not having any food. It was almost like a remake of what I went through 25 years ago. I was trying to maintain my composure because within a prison environment, if you act a certain way, you can be penalized for it. And I knew I was innocent, so I just held my peace. But the last morning, I got up and I couldn't take it anymore. And I just got to screaming all types of obscenities and demanded that, the people that were supposed to come talk to us that was in charge of the investigation to come clear this. And eventually, they let me out my cell, and I was able to talk to the individuals, and they pretty much assured me that I would be going back to my regular cell that day, and that it was just a big misunderstanding, which to me it didn't suffice what I had went through, I knew that I was innocent from the start because I didn't do anything, just like I knew I was innocent when I got arrested on this case. But the authorities always have another agenda, and that's when, power is just run amok. It's just been abused when you have power over another individual. I don't know, maybe the last night before we left when the ceiling started leaking, I actually had thoughts of suicide. I just wanted to end my life because I was tired of going through this after all these years of being innocent and constantly suffering. But God obviously has another plan for me. I just need everyone to pray for me that this nightmare will end soon. That's all I have for you right now.
Mike, I know that even after they detained you and knew that you had nothing to do with whatever the charge was or the accusation of you was,
Right.
how did you get back to your jail cell from
From
isolation and
segregation.
segregation. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, well, they had took us over there in vans because it was below zero weather outside the night that they had escorted us over there. But when we departed, there was no vans, so they made us leave and walk outside in below zero weather with no coats. One of the officers was nice enough to give me a T-shirt, like a blanket to cover over my body. And so I walked back, me and my cellmate, to the cell house, which was about 10 minutes away, probably about a half a mile in distance, out freezing below zero weather with no shoes and no coat. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, Mike,
It's just,
yeah. Sorry, Mike.
no, it's just, I don't know. It's just obvious that, they don't care about us. That's the bottom line. When you get in the system, you're just another number, and you're treated like an animal. That's just the bottom line. And you can take that to the bank. It's ridiculous. How could you treat another human being like that? It's unfathomable.
Yep.
Especially when they didn't do anything from the start. And whether even if I did, everyone has a level of human rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And Mike, there's this debate about how hostages are being dealt with overseas. I mean, across all the wars, but especially now with the conflict between Hamas and Israel and the concern of those hostages. Mike, I know that you were on or are on a high blood pressure medication. Did they
Correct.
give you your medications while they snatched you that day?
No, they didn't. My medication was left in my cell, and so I had to constantly, how can I put it? I had to constantly make requests to the officers and then to the nurses that bring medication to other guys that stack there, and so they eventually brought me one of my pills because I take 2 pills, which still wasn't enough because my main pill I didn't have. But what was so crazy about the whole situation, all they had to do was send someone to my cell and grab my medication and bring it to me. They act like it was impossible to retrieve my medication when it was something relatively simple. But the bottom line is, what it boils down to, like I said, is when people, they don't put a value on an individual life. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it boils down to. They don't put value on our life.
And Mike,
that's the bottom line.
Yeah, and I think you are at a even lesser value. I don't know how that is possible. But if you had value as a black man in the first place, you wouldn't even be where you are now in that place. Because they didn't
Correct.
value you as an innocent man 25 years ago when they scooped you out of a car the way they did and put you through 36 hours of hell and torture. If they valued you at that moment, you would have never endured what you endured.
Correct.
But
Correct.
now
That's
you are
right.
in another place that devalues you that much more. And I say this, that you are the modern day cotton. And right now you are living your life in the modern day cotton field.
Right, correct. Mass incarceration is just another form of chattel slavery. It's all about money, just like slavery was primarily it was economics, And,
Correct.
Prison is just another form of slavery. It's being camouflaged as being legal because supposedly people come here for, breaking the law, which is true. But even those that come here for breaking the law, they get excessive sentences, and it's other alternatives to come to jail. But as a black man, it's the objective of the system to send you to prison.
Correct.
God forbid that you have a serious violent crime. The objective is to lock you up and never let you go home.
Correct.
They get over $40-some thousand per inmate, by the taxpayers' money. They even have stocks on the stock market for prisoners. It's just a big business.
And Mike, do you though believe that half of the guys or even more of those individuals that are locked up with you would be there if they were valued and given a fair chance to success like me as a white man prior?
No, I don't believe they'll be here. I believe that if we had better, programs in the black community and better schooling and more programs for people that come from dysfunctional homes or one-parent homes to assist them in their, walk in life. No, I don't believe a lot of guys will be here.
Correct.
No, I don't believe they'll be here.
Because we know that your success as my black family is incredible. We know that from, Black Wall Street. We know that from Rosewood. We know that from all the inventions and the things that you have created. And so it seems as if the bigger picture is every time you try to succeed, we in white America do everything in our power to destroy that progress that you make. And that's why, at some point, what alternative do you have?
Correct. It's all about maintaining power and control. That's what it boils down to. White America want to maintain the power, the control, and all the wealth. I believe their biggest fear is for black people to be equal with them or to even supersede them and take their role and they take ours. And to have that fear, they would always keep some type of system in place for us to be, second best to them. They'll never let us take their position.
Right. And so I know, Mike.
Look at history. That's what it boils down to. Yeah.
Absolutely does. And I know, Mike, that you could supposedly do what they call a grievance. But what happens?
Correct.
But what happens if you do a grievance?
Well, I can essentially be retaliated against. Being moved around to a place where I don't want to be, don't know no one. Constantly being harassed with my cell being searched and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I know, Mike, our phone is going to hang up soon, and I don't want to leave our time together until people understand who Michael Sanders is. So, Mike, I would love for you to share with the individuals out there the accomplishments and the things that you have done in these 25 years being detained.
Well, my most my most happy moment, or however you want to word it, was when I received my master's degree in June of 2022 from North Park Theological Seminary. I have numerous other college certificates, classes that I took in Stainville prison, as well as a paralegal certificate that I took on my own through correspondence that my family paid for, $900 through the mail, and I obtained an accounting certificate through another college that my parents paid for. That was about $900. Yeah, I just tried to not accept the label that they had put on me in terms of being in prison. I believe in my heart that I'm better than who they say I am. And so that's what I strive to do, to always try to be a better person every day, even after all this time. That's what keeps me going.
And Mike, I also know it's not just you that you tell yourself to keep your mind like that. You are an
Uh-huh.
incredible mentor, and I know over all these years, you have mentored thousands and thousands of young men behind those bars.
Correct.
And I know they just recently moved you, and I know when you moved from that prison to where you are now, it was a very sad day for those guys as they watched you walk away.
Yeah, I had some tight bonds. I was in Stainville for 16 years with a lot of those guys. We was pretty much a family, you know. And yeah, it was a sad day when I was leaving. I missed them as well. Yep.
Yep. Well, I know, Mike, we get cut off here soon, but I really would like, I know prayer and all of that and our thoughts towards you, but what are some other things that we can do for you? Can you, we're awaiting an answer from the governor now for what, 2 years, this past October,
Yeah.
for your
Right.
immediate release. Mike, what are some things that
Correct.
followers can do? And I can get the information listed. What could they do to
Right.
help you?
Well, my lawyers suggest that they call the governor's office daily and just make inquiries about the status of my clemency hearing. They're supposed to record, or not record, but they're supposed to count all the calls. That's pretty much all you can do right now. Is call the governor's office, making inquiries about the status of my clemency, or they can write the governor personally letters asking about my status of my clemency. That's all we can do right now. It's to urge the governor to release me safely. Basically.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Right. Well, Mike, I will make
Yeah.
sure that that information is given, in the description part of the video. But family, Mike and I, since he did move to this new place, he's been really allowed to call sometimes twice a day. So over the last 6 months or so, Mike and I get to talk. At least it seems like once a day, sometimes twice a day. And so when he didn't call for all those days, I was losing my mind because I didn't know, who do I call? What happened? Did something happen? You have 1 minute left. But developed a true friendship that I know when he gets out, it will grow to a greater level. Because we won't have to talk to each other through bars or sitting at a table looking at each other anymore, or over the phone. But hey, Mike, I know we're about to get cut off, but any final words you want to leave?
I just, I just send my love to everybody, man, and to, I don't know, put God first and try to stay positive. And if you can help someone, it may be a need to help, because everyone needs help in this world.
All right. Hey, Mike.
That's it.
Mike,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling me, and if you can call me again tonight, I'll be around.
Okay.
All right.
Love you, bro.
Love you too, Mike. Okay,
All
talk
right.
to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
The caller has hung.
Hey, family, this is your brother Dana, and that was Michael Sanders. And I told him, he didn't tell me at first that he had that depth of thought of suicide. He said it was the worst that he's had for almost those whole 25 years. And he didn't tell me when he reached out to me that first chance he had, because he didn't want to make me sad or worry about him possibly carrying through. And I had to be honest with him, family, and tell him that, yes, I would be sad, but I would have totally understood. I marvel that this man, who has now been a rock in my life as a true brother, has helped me through even these past couple of years of transition from Chicago down here to Atlanta, leaving, in the central basically my family in the inner city of Chicago. Being alone, things not working out the way that you thought Yah would, and feeling trapped or shameful or guilty of maybe I made a mistake, if I would have, if I should have, I could have, why didn't I? Just like went and goes through Mike's mind about finally allowing them to torture him to a place where he signed a confession, which was for burglary, which he did not do, but ultimately turned into a confession for murder. And that he found out on the day of arraignment. But this brother has maintained such an incredible Joseph character. And so if it be on your heart to call the governor's office in Illinois, whether it's daily or weekly, there is a sister, Shelley, who's been calling every week on Mike's behalf now for over 2 years. She texts me every week. Same information, Brother Dana, it's pending. How long is it going to take, Brother Dana? It's still pending. But Mike, knowing that there's people behind him, he said his greatest fear of being incarcerated, which is not just to him, but to everybody, is being forgotten. And he says to know that I'm not forgotten keeps me going every day. Family, I thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and I thank you for whatever the Most High may place on your heart in supporting Brother Mike. I appreciate that, and I know he does too. So this is your brother Dana, coming to you from Atlanta, from a place in one love. Shalom, family.